patrons, welcome to another video. This video is going to be on melodies. So with a melody, you really want to make sure that you are telling a story and that there is a feeling attached to your melody and that you're really telling a story. So your melody should really have a feeling and should be a storyteller. Okay, so let me dive right in. One exercise that I wanted to show you, throughout the history of music, you do see melodies that are composed, if you analyze them, breaking them down, composed of short interval and long interval. And this mixing and matching of these kind of intervals you do see in many melodies. So I'm going to show you a couple here. So if you study classical music, so you notice short intervals here and then a long interval. So that's one example. In movie music, you know, from the Hulk, The Lonely Man, I think is the name of the song. So you notice the long interval and then short interval. So if you take this concept and you practice using scales, I think that this could be a really useful thing for you if you want to start off with a melody. So let's try this with the scale here. Let's try it in G minor. So what I'm going to do is go up the scale, but I'm going to be playing melodies with these kind of intervals. So long interval and then short interval, or short interval and then long interval. Okay? Try another one. So I went mostly up, you know, started with an interval going up, but this time I'm going to go down. This is a minor key, so let's go to a major key now. Let's go to D. So it's good to do it in different keys. So that would be one exercise that you could use, is take a scale and try to incorporate these short intervals and long intervals. Now right now we're just limiting it to scales. But if you wanted to and sit down and write down maybe a chord progression, let's say, for example, we'll use the two chords that we just used, the two scales. So we'll use those as chords. So we'll use D major, and then we'll use G minor. Let me see if I can come up with a melody that's got short intervals and long intervals using these two chords going back and forth. You know, and then if you start using a different chord progression, so if you have a chord progression in mind, so try experimenting with this exercise, short intervals and long intervals. One thing that I do want to talk about is with doing all this, you know, I think I want to emphasize the importance of noodling, and I've talked about this in several videos. But noodling, I think, is a very important part of creative process of you creating a melody and then it becoming something. So I think that you should try and incorporate noodling into your regimen. Like once you warm up every day, you know, you do your consistent warm up, try to noodle for a good 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. I think it's important in getting ideas out, and you will find that a lot of times a lot of those ideas become something, you know, maybe they become a melody, a lick, or even a composition, you know. So I think that that's important, noodling. And then along with that, I find that a lot of pianists are afraid to play in different keys just because they're not familiar, you know. They're usually playing in C and F or G. But, you know, we have 12 keys, so really experiment noodling when it comes to different keys. So if you're in B, for example, you know, playing in different keys is really important. Yeah. So that's one thing that that I wanted to share with you today. You know, when it comes to the harmony behind the melody, that's equally as important, because those two things, the harmony and the melody, have to match and create a feeling. So when I was saying that your melody should tell a story, sometimes that story can change a little bit by changing the harmony. You know, if I play a melody like this, you know, so that's one melody. But if I play it in a different harmony, notice that it creates a different feeling. It's pretty much a similar melody. I didn't play it exactly as I did the first time, but it creates a different feeling. So really explore the harmony behind these melodies that you're creating. Maybe you love a melody underneath a certain harmony, but if you really test the waters and try to use different chords and even inversions of chords. I love inversions, so you'll find that in many of these videos. All these are inversions. I went to a G chord there in first inversion with the ninth. You'll see that I like the ninth as well. So really test the waters with the harmony behind it. It doesn't always have to be in root position. You can play. There are many inversions of these chords. I hope that helps. Yeah, please post your melodies here. Short interval and long interval, mixing and matching. And then testing the harmony behind those melodies. I hope this helps, and let me know what you think. Thank you guys always, and stay safe. See you. Bye-bye.